A lot of people are talking about Sydney Sweeney. She's taken over the internet by storm, and she was on SNL. And Danny's a boob man, and I've never been a boob man, so that's why.
I'm not a crazy boob man, to be honest.
What?
I mean, I like them. More of an ass man.
I feel like you're revising history.
I've never.
I feel like that's always been your thing.
Never, no.
Boobman.
No, I mean, I like them.
Well, I thought you were going to sort of represent the other side.
Red-blooded American. But I'm not, like, I don't, it's not like a requirement.
Well, do you like them? Here's the question. Do you prefer them over small ones?
Yeah.
Well, that's the definition of a boob man.
But I don't care. I don't, like, I guess I have no.
What do you mean?
Well, all things being equal.
They're never all equal, usually.
But I mean, all other things being equal, and you could just have a bigger rack or a smaller rack.
Even still, a lot of times I see big boobs as an indication that this girl's going to get fat. If you see a girl that's normal size and she's got huge honkers and she's like 24, you put that girl at 37.
Well, it's because the hormones.
Those arms are going to start flapping, my friend.
Yeah, well, that is a good point, because you'd think that the hormones are kind of coursing through right now.
A lot of fat in that body. There's the odd case where it's not the case, but...
Yeah, sometimes they just have big cans.
Well, a lot of times you find out those cans are fake.
I mean, in that regard, then sure, if all things being equal, but it's not something I would, like, seek out specifically. Like, I've never been like, oh, I'm not interested.
I'm surprised to hear you say this, to be honest.
I've said it before.
I don't think you...
I've dated girls with small chests. I'm not, like... It's not like the end all be all. I don't like a I definitely don't like just like a flat ass though. That is.
I mean, the combination matters, obviously.
Yeah.
Like,
but I don't mind them.
Your least favorite's probably no tits
and then obviously
and fat.
Yeah, and maybe a penis, but
probably the least desirable.
Too big, I don't like. I'll take too small over too big.
Interesting.
Yeah, just because I'd rather too small than too big.
Well, there's this article that came out, and a couple of people tagged us in it. That's why I wanted to bring this up. But it basically, there's a... so it's Slate released this article, and a lot of people were saying they like Sydney Sweeney and the fucking cans. And then they said, Sydney Sweeney's boobs are not that big. If anything, they're kind of average.
I mean, can we just actually quantify this? We have to be able to.
Okay, I'm gonna before I even read it, I will tell you the hypothesis.
Based on appearance, I would say they're above average.
No, the reason they're not is because people are monstrosities of fat in this country. So they're kind of saying, like, if you actually look at like what your average boob is, it's like, yeah, those girls are 300 pounds.
Yeah, but even still though, I see lots of bigger girls and they don't have big. It doesn't always necessarily translate because everybody puts on fat in different parts. Some girls you've seen, they have small tits and they are fat.
Yeah, and
they're
some girls you see these girls walking around with these.
Oh, massive. Yeah,
you'd fucking put them over your shoulder like a continental soldier.
Yeah, usually they're old ladies though, and they have just those giant.
Okay, but they're bringing up the average.
They're like literally, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, they're bringing up the average. Dude, girls that have small tits.
Yeah.
That like an average like skinny girl with like kind of small tits. 9 of her tits are probably one of those girls' tits.
Well, probably more.
Do you know, it might be like 17. Mm-hmm. So that girl cancels out 17 women.
That's true.
Up to one Sydney Sweeney. So it's like, it's crazy.
For her age, for whatever her age is, though, they're above average for sure. Because obviously age and size.
If you said for her weight and stuff like that, you might be right. But that's not what they're saying, which is why this article's stupid. That's my point. Yeah, they're saying the Oscars.
Cap of the week right here.
It is cap of the week.
Cap of the week.
Sweeney wore Marilyn Monroe-inspired gown, and by the looks, no bra. That is to say, her boobs are small enough to be held in place beneath her plunging halter top with some professional-grade boob tape, which is not a thing most people with truly large breasts can say. So, you know what it is really like? It's the dude writing an article being like, I actually find Peter North's dick small.
Just normal, average fucking rod on that guy, you know?
And if you actually think about it.
He wears regular underwear just like I do. Explain that.
If he had a fucking real hog, he wouldn't even be poking out at all times. He wouldn't even be able to fucking pop it in there.
Explain that.
It's literally a girl who's fat kind of being like, I don't know what this girl looks like. But the only argument to be made is just like, yes, they're talking about if girls that aren't fat, they're pretty big.
Yeah. It's just nobody thinks that.
Sweeney's boobs are big in the way Marilyn Monroe is curvy. Yes, in context, but also no. I was like, yes, Marilyn Monroe is curvy, but this girl who's 700 pounds has curves as far as the eye can see.
Yeah.
So many curves That if you look at her from far enough away, she just looks flat.
It's nonsense. Nonsense. I'm looking at her photo of the author.
You know what this girl is, Danny?
Yeah.
A flat boober.
She's not a globalist.
She's definitely This is a flat boober, man. This is a conspiracy out here.
Yeah, I bet she's probably prefers a nice Taylor Swift.
She's a boob size denier.
She's a boob size denier. I know. Why? What is even the point of this?
I think the point is her. Is
she just trying to take? Like, who is this for? Is this for regular women? Like, is she trying to uplift regular women of all boob sizes? Is she trying to knock Sydney Sweeney down a peg?
I think it's that right-wing people liked it, so she had to figure out how she didn't, and this is what she came up with.
Yeah, because this is a Slate article.
I think that's what she did. She kind of looked at it and she saw the right-wing Twitter of the world, kind of being like,
which was like kind of a big troll, to be honest, because
kind of kidding a little.
Well, a lot of I saw a lot of right-wing Twitter, and they're like, but it seemed like they were a troll, kind of like.
I don't think they were just like.
yeah, but they were some of the things I was like, oh, they're just literally trying.
Well, it's kind of funny. It's just boobs is a funny convo. Exactly. You know what I mean? To be like, boobs are back. You're right. It was just a little bit of a funny convo. However, this girl saw that, and I think she was kind of like, whatever's going on here, I gotta stop. I'm against. And she's like, well, what's the issue? It's like everyone's saying they're big. Like, well, listen, I'm sitting here with my 3 friends that look like a defensive line, and we don't have fucking her size boobs. Ours are so big we have to wear 2 bras a piece.
You know what's really crazy is that this woman who wrote
our floors have to be reinforced.
If
I wear moon shoes, they're just normal shoes because the springs all break.
This woman's a journalist. Like, this is, we're talking about journalism right now. This is journalism she's doing.
It's proper journalism.
Pretty crazy. Like, that
is crazy.
You're like, what do you do? You're like, I'm a journalist. We go, what was your last, what'd you do?
Sydney Sweeney's boobs are
She goes,
big.
I'm in Slate. You go, oh, that's pretty cool. What did you write about? I go, Sydney Sweeney's boobs aren't actually that big. You go, is there like a whole scientific thing? Like, is there papers you reference? She goes, no.
I eyeballed it.
I kind of just like my opinion.
Sort of eyeballed it.
It's just like, editorial, I guess, stuff. I just basically just say it's not that big. You go, real fine journalism you're doing here.
That is funny, going to your like new, after Slate inevitably shuts down and you're trying to get a job at the, somewhere else, New York Times or whatever.
Yeah, you got your resume. Dude, that resume is not going to get you fucking like working at McDonald's. You'd be like, what?
When it comes to average breast size, the figure that was thrown around for American women is 34 double D, which is a little bit larger than people speculate her to be. But Sydney Sweeney's really are at the top of the size, aren't at the top of the size spectrum here, or is it that she's a tiny blonde white woman? So she's getting some of her stuff in here.
Back to Slate's bread and butter.
yeah. She's getting into it right here. She goes, she thinks some of the issue might be that she's white.
Yeah, I mean, we like.
How would everyone feel here if how would everyone feel here if the boobs weren't perky? She said.
I mean, how not perky? I guess.
I was like, seeing a porn star's dicks being huge and be like, how would you feel if he couldn't get hard? And like, I think people might like that less.
First off, I think we've all seen girls who have kind of not perky breasts, and they manage to just kind of hold them in. Like you can kind of.
You can tell that the skin looks like. It's
it looks a little, but they manage
thin skin.
Yeah, they manage to just like get them in. You go, that still looks fine. With like in the context of wearing a dress or a shirt, like
you sort of shove them in, like taking a bunch of Jello and then you sort of put it in a bag and then
exactly, and you
squeeze the bag tight and put a pipe cleaner around it. That's what girls do.
Yeah, but they look fine. They managed to make it work, I guess. Maybe.
So how would everyone feel if they weren't perky? Who's like, again, who's against that? Being like, I actually love them even if they were sloppy and gross.
Yeah, but again, how not perky?
Hot take. That she thinks that,
And also there's lots of, Eva Mendes, who's,
furthermore, she says.
Yep. Furthermore.
Boobs come in shapes and sizes other than round. So now she's starting to get into a little bit of take. What do you think about that, white man?
Yeah.
You like those perky boobs?
You like some of them are oblong.
Yeah. Newsflash.
Bananas.
Newsflash. Some boobs look like you threw a ton of tacks into a tube sock and you swing it around in the gravitron.
Bag of leaves.
What about that?
How do you feel about that?
And guess what? There's only 4 leaves in that bag of leaves. And it's a big ass parachute. It'd
be funny if this chick had just like a massive rack though.
Potato sack with a couple of crumpled up pieces of paper. That's what some boobs look like.
That's what. I don't know. She's just raging against the boobs. I don't know why.
Furthermore, there's a lot of different variations, including teardrop, pendulous, east-west. If you want to understand this viscerally and perhaps a little more normal about your own boobs, you only need to look at Laura Dodsworth project of 100 photographs of boobs.
Oh, this is what I was thinking of actually when she's talking about this. Yeah, where there's all.
So she's saying like what you should
be doing. Cartoony, kind of like yeah. Here are all the different boobs.
And what she's sort of getting at is that.
Yeah. Hey, newsflash, lady. People like symmetry. I hate fucking to be the bearer of bad news.
Oh.
Generally, people like symmetry above asymmetrical boobs.
Well.
Like, if you had just a perfect C-cup breast, and then beside it is like an E banana, no good. No bueno. Sorry. You might have one perfect one, but then the bad one makes them both bad.
And if you're looking to get that sucked, look fucking elsewhere than Danny Polishuk's mouth and lips, man.
It's like the rotten fruit, you know?
Have you ever taken
Spoils them all.
Have you ever brought a girl home, ripped off her shirt, and said, "What the fuck is this?"
What? I go, what is going?
You go, excuse me? And then you pull out a mirror. You go, look at this. Look at this.
Nah.
I can't work with this.
Okay.
That's what you sort of say. You go, you're putting your chapstick on. You're like, no, I can't work with this.
Gonna need a bigger chapstick. Industrial strength.
Yeah. No, call yourself a neighbor. I can't work with that. Do you know who I am? I'm one of the top titty suckers on this side of the country.
But it's so crazy because you're like, yeah, obviously.
I know.
There's so many different types of breasts. Yes, some are better than others. Like, if you just, first off, it's not up to women to decide. Bad news for you, ladies.
Yeah,
you don't get to decide.
That's
what
correct.
What guys like.
That
you
is
just
correct.
Don't. Okay, and if you put those in opposed to like some 70-year-old ladies floppers, yeah, almost 100% of the time they're going to choose Sydney Sweeney. Sorry.
And what they're saying is that's incorrect.
That's incorrect. You guys are wrong.
You got